All right, all right, all right, you loyal listeners. Welcome to another episode of Agency Influence. That's right. Used to be Agents Influence, but now it is Agency Intelligence. If you didn't know that, the very, very beginning, the first, 5 years of this podcast was actually named Agents Influence. It was AI. So that's where I was talking with Jeff Roy inside the mastermind in 2018, and he said AI is the future. You know, you've already got AI as Agents Influence. I was trying to rebrand, and that's when I sat down and thought he's right. And what other thing works with AI? I didn't want it to be Agents Influence, and that's where we came up with Agency Intelligence back in 2018. Jeff Roy, me, and many other agents from hanging out inside of Insurance Agent Mastermind knew back in 2018 that we'd be living in this world that we're living in right now. A lot of stuff. Hey, I want to invite you that in June, I am going to be giving my presentation to my mastermind group. And during that, I'm actually going to open up that mastermind meeting to everyone in the industry. So if you're listening, you're going to be able to find a link online with this video, with the podcast. You can go to Apple, Google Play, you can go anywhere, and we're there. Okay. So I wanted you guys to know that that's going to be a big deal. I think I've given that presentation 2 times, both times to people are loving it. I was just out in Monterey, California last week. I spoke there. I had to crunch it down to a 20-minute TED Talk. I absolutely loved it. I've got it all on video. My team's working on trying to produce it and get it out here in the next couple of weeks. I'm excited to deliver it to you guys. It'll take about 45 minutes to 50 minutes, and we'll talk about time and money. Now, I'm going to talk about time and money today, and we're going to talk about that. Now, I had total intentions, been thinking about this for the last 2 or 3 days about how I was going to talk about this time and money. It doesn't have to do with my AI is your secret weapon. It's the battle for your time and money. That's my presentation that I'm going across to America doing. This here that I want to talk about today is a little snippet of time and money and what the future looks like if AI takes our jobs, right? What does that look like? No one knows. So why don't you and I have a discussion and talk about it, right? Before I do, yesterday morning, afternoon, somewhere late in the afternoon, what we would, if you were eating, we would call it brunch, sometime around there, I received an email. I receive emails here and there of people saying, hey, appreciate what you do, or hey, Jason, I think you're an idiot in this. And I really should read some of those emails. If you don't really know me, I don't really have much of a long memory. You know, I think of things happen to me. I think it's one of the reasons why I'm blessed as a salesperson, as an insurance agent. If I get my feelings hurt, I get over it really, really fast. Because I'm not a superpower. I just forget, right? I just move on. It's the way my brain's always been. Maybe it's the way I've been since I was a kid. I don't know. But I got this email that I wanted to read, right? Here's the email. Hey, Jason, a question from a longtime listener in Montana. Hey, Jason, I've been a fan of your podcast since way back. Like Chuck Blondino 2014 kind of way back. That was cool. That is way back there. One of the most, still the statistics that Chuck delivered are still probably true in the industry today. A study of over 900 agents, all Safeco agents, I think in the Northeast sector of America. He would study these agents every 2 years and deliver these results. Oh, it was fabulous. If any of you guys know Chuck, you know how great he is. Wrote a book. Fantastic. Okay. Just a great guy. Wonderful for our industry. Was part builder of the great foundation that we have today, the great road we have today. All right, back to this. He said that episode was the first time it really felt like someone got it in this industry, and I've been hooked ever since. Well, thank you very much. He says, my name is Tyler, beep, I'm going to leave out his last name, writing from Great Falls, Montana. He says, I run a small agency up here in Big Sky Country, and I've lately been thinking a lot about routines. You seem like a guy who doesn't just wing it. That sometimes Travis may disagree with that. If you don't know, Travis is my business partner in almost every one of my ventures that I do. And then mind sharing what your daily routine is. I'm talking real life, behind the scenes stuff. Don't hit the ground running. Do you hit the ground running at 5 a.m. or ease into the day with a little quiet time and coffee? What would you love to know about anchors your day and helps you juggle all the hats you wear? Okay, good point. Appreciate all you do. You've made a big impact out here. Fantastic. Out here, like it's out in the West, like out there, just not in, where is this at? Great Falls, Montana, out here. Well, Tyler, appreciate you sending the email. And I'll tell you, I get this occasionally whenever I'm out and about speaking. People wonder how I do what I do with all of this. I will tell you that the secret to my day is that I am a delegator. I tell you, my staff, my team, people who hang out with me are tired of hearing what I'm going to tell you right now. Steve Jobs said, I don't hire smart people and tell them what to do. I hire smart people and have them tell me what to do. When I heard that in my early 30s, that just did something to me. You've all had those things, right? You've had those things that you may have even heard it 2 or 3 times, but there's that one time it rings through. Or maybe it's something new that you hear, and it's that one time that it rings through, right? That's what happened to me here. And it was monumental at the age of 47. I still use it as a driving factor. I'm not going to sit here and say I use it as a driving factor of everything I do, but there's certain times I do use it every time. When I'm trying to hire somebody. It's kind of important that I use this mantra that I just said, right? So I'm looking for smart people. And everybody would say, like they do, Jason, who's not trying to hire smart people? I get it, right? Everybody is. You know the difference between me and you, or me and a lot of people out there that think that way? Probably not me and you. I apologize, loyal listener, for saying you. Those other people. You know what the reason is? Because they don't want to pay them. And smart people cost a lot of money. That's the truth. 6 figures today for a specialist in a job or someone who's going to be able to run a certain sector of your business is not out of line today. You want to have a certified tech person in your agency, you're going to have to pay 6 figures. Are you going to have to deal with tech? Is your tech stack going to be the envy of what other agents are wanting so that they can provide the results you do with the little amount of workforce that you have to have? We have not fired anybody. It's how we reuse that time of that workforce where we save it, right? All right, back to my routine. Delegate is what I do. I usually wake up between 4 and 5 o'clock. Sometimes it could be 5:30. I don't really have a solid time. I'd be lying to you if I did. It just depends on how excited I am about something. But 90% of the time, I'm definitely going to be up by 5. But a lot of times this morning, I was up by around 4:15. I'm working on something for the industry. I'm going to deliver it in the next 2 to 3 months, and you're going to see how much work I've put into this. And you can remember back to this podcast while I'm telling you I got up at 4:15 this morning. It might have been a little earlier. And it's because I wanted to come into my office. So I wake up. I'm usually, first of all, met with this new cat. This is part of my routine. My son brought home this cat. I don't like cats. I've fallen in love with this cat. I enjoy getting up in the morning with this cat. So I'll usually get up with the cat. I'm going to usually drink some water, a lot of water. Usually going to sit around for probably 3 to 5 minutes just to kind of just enjoy the fact that everything's quiet. Boom. I'm going to either go outside and I'm going to start walking, or I'm going to go to the gym. In 45 minutes of walking outside, I can do right under 3 miles. It's around 14 to 15 minutes per mile. I'm booking it. Okay. We got short legs, man. 5'11", but got short legs. That's what they say. I don't think my legs are short. So I'm usually going to come home sometime. I'm going to be done in between 5:30 and 6:30, depending on exactly when I got up. I'm going to have a shower. I go right in. I make the same thing every day. I make 2 eggs and 1 patty of sausage. If my wife's eating with me, we go to 4 eggs and 2 sausages. I make a bowl of plain yogurt. Plain Greek yogurt. No additives, no nothing. The stuff that doesn't taste good, it doesn't until after you eat it 2 or 3 times. I'm usually going to cut up 3 or 4 strawberries. I'm putting blueberries, blackberries, whatever I can get in it. There's not a fruit I don't like that I probably found 1 or 2 somewhere as I travel the world that I didn't like. But so far, I pretty much like all fruits and vegetables. I'm usually going to be to work between 7 and 8:30. Once again, depends on when I went. Maybe me and my wife want to sit outside on the back porch. Usually in the summer, it's going to be closer to 7:30, 8 o'clock. In the winter, I'm going to get here usually around 7 every time because you'll understand when I end the day. So as I go to the office, you'll see that I really don't ever have anything until 9. And I have nothing scheduled after 3. Okay. 9 to 3. Mondays and Tuesdays, no one gets to schedule a meeting with me unless it is very important. Okay. Because those days are already pretty much booked. And where I have extra time there, I can't get out of that. Can't do it. All right. So keep in mind also, I have Barbara, who is my executive assistant. Now, she's my executive assistant. This is important to know because you got to know how we do all this during the day. My executive assistant runs the agency intelligence and in virtual intelligence. She runs the operations of things that I need to do for that. Okay. Now, Davey runs virtual intelligence and Sarah Nicholas runs AI as a whole as far as operations head of it. But Barbara helps me in the things I have to do with those two. Over at the Insurance Alliance, I have a totally separate executive assistant. Her name is Sophia. And she has to help me do that because it's too much for Barbara to learn. So I took somebody out of the Insurance Alliance who's worked for me for a while, who still does the work, but they act as my executive assistant so that I can get things done. And Barbara and Sophia rule and run my calendar, my email, my Teams, my LinkedIn's. The only thing they are not allowed to touch is my Facebook messages. That's right. They even have my text messages. All my text messages come to their computer. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can never do that. Well, I do, right? I'm not hiding anything. There's no reason why they can't see. Why do they need it? A lot of people say, oh, well, Jason, I have a VE or executive assistant and they don't have my texts. Well, they're not doing all the stuff I'm having them do. Because if you start going to financial places, they don't always do it by email. They do it by text messages. Sometimes they're doing a double verification. They're doing it by email and text message. If you start getting into the heavy things, I want you to know, what do I trust them with? Everything. There's nothing they're really not allowed to do, those two. But I trust them with everything. But also, even my what we call my vice presidents, my lieutenants, I like to say, Davey and Sarah and Travis. They're not, well, Travis is, he's allowed to do the banking, but other people aren't. But Barbara and Sophia can. I trust them with everything. Okay. Just have to. I may get burnt one day, but I have to trust them with it to be able to do what I'm telling you. On Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm meeting the first 3 hours of the day with different team members and leadership members of virtual intelligence. I go to lunch from 12 to 1. From 1 to 3, I'm meeting with number one, what we call the growth team at the Insurance Alliance. That growth team is all about money. We talk about new business, renewals, leads. How many did we close? Anybody who is involved in new business or renewals on that call, we go over what our finances are. We went over what cancellations are, new business are, how many policies did we write, what line of business was it. We look at everything. Why? Because we have the data to be able to do that. Why? Because we went and paid 6 figures for Mitch Gibson and his team. He now actually has an assistant, Juan, who helps him do everything that he needs to do so that he can execute as the CTO of all of these businesses. He actually has like 3 assistants, but Mitch, that's his main assistant there is Juan. All right, so we're doing that at 3:00. I'm done. Remember, I told you that they're only people that can get before 9 and after 3 is through Sophia or through Barbara, and they know that what kind of person that needs to be or situation, 911 situation that needs to be. What would that be? One of my top 5 clients calls, says I need to meet with him at this time. Yeah, that's what Jason's doing. When it comes to what I do for the Insurance Alliance, other than running and managing the team, I do handle, of our top 5 clients, I handle 3 or 4 of those. Of our top 10, I handle about 5, and Travis handles the other 5. Very easy. Marvin controls all of it. We basically have to just overlook it and deliver the renewals. Other than, meeting during the week or during the year 2 or 3 times, but we have other producers who will handle that type of work. So just letting you know, giving you an overview of how we do that. I'm usually probably going to meet with Ariel, who is my social media manager. I'm going to meet with her probably on a Monday or Tuesday. She kind of swings because she works for us only 3 days a week full time. So that's depends on what it is. Tuesday, after, I'm usually going home between 3:30 and 4:30. Sometimes if I'm really big on a project, it may be 5, but that is very, very rarely. Most of the time, 3:44 or 3:45 to 4:00, I'm out the door. I'm going to go home. I'm going to usually, very rarely do I anymore. I may work out in the afternoon if I didn't in the morning for some reason, if I had an early meeting that I had to get to. But I'm usually going to hang out with the wife. He's going to throw the Frisbee with the dogs. I have Jagger and Parker. They are I love these dogs. They play Frisbee. They're very talented. If you follow me, you'll know about my dogs. I talk about them all the time. And then usually I'm going to eat around 5:30 or 6. I'm going to be usually in bed, cleaned up the kitchen, made the coffee. That's the key here. This is the time where I start prepping for tomorrow. What's the secret to getting up early in the morning? What's the secret? I'm going to tell you. The secret to getting up early in the morning is you prepare the night before. You have all the coffee laid out. You know exactly what you're going to eat. You're already seeing it. You've already got it placed a certain place in the fridge, in the cabinet. You know what clothes you're wearing the next day, so you don't have to think about that because you might be a little tired, but you're more clear-minded than you might be early in the morning, especially if you're not an early riser, right? So I have that done. I know where everything is, what socks, what shoes that I'm going to wear. I need to know where my workout clothes are. So when I wake up in the middle of the night or in the morning and I'm tired, I know exactly where they are. I'm going to go put them on. Okay, so these are the things that I'm lining out. I have my cup sitting out in the kitchen by the stove, by the sink, so that I can then have my water that I told you. I'm going to have the cat food already prepared, the dish that I'm going to mix it in. I have everything done the night before. It takes me about 15 minutes to do all that, but yet it allows me to get up super early in the morning, right? Allows me to get up super early in the morning, and then I'm prepared. Now, according to my watch, if I look at it, I'm looking at my watch from last night. My sleep score was an 89. Oh, there it is. And I slept for 7 hours. No, 8. It says 7 hours and 33 minutes, but I think I was asleep a little longer than that. It says, I'm trying to get this damn thing. This is my new watch, so I'm not very good at using this damn thing yet. Oh, there it says I actually went to bed at 8:30 and woke up at 3:36. 3:36. I didn't get out of bed though to about 4:15. Okay, so that was a little worse. Okay, I told you I'm really working on something right now. I'm really excited about it. So anyways, that is my day. So I'm going to create a second podcast is what I'm going to do. And I apologize for that, but I try to keep these around 20 minutes long. I have tried to do that for like the last year or two. So I'm going to do one more podcast. I do apologize. That took a lot longer than I wanted. But Tyler, if you're listening, I hope that you now know you said you wanted, I'm talking real life behind the scenes stuff. That was about it. Now on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, those look different. I have everything marked off on Wednesday after 12, and I have everything marked off on Friday after 12. Okay. That's a very big deal that I need to be able to do that. I don't play around with my calendar specifically I don't play around with my calendar when it comes to people playing with it. Everything's blocked out in my calendar. Do you know why everything's blocked out in my calendar, everyone? It's called Parkinson's Law. Parkinson's Law says that work fills time allowed. Work fills time allowed. That means if I allow something to take me an hour, or I allow that same thing to take me 30 minutes, I can get it done in 30 minutes. I guarantee you. Now, if it takes me 3 hours to get something done and I have to give myself that much time, no, I'm not going to be able to get it done in 30 minutes. But if you're reasonable, if it's say, hey, this should normally take someone probably about 3 hours to do, make yourself 2 hours, do it in 2 hours. I guarantee it, but you got to block it off. And then when you block it off, you got to follow it. Now, a lot of people don't do that, and I didn't do that my whole life. Now, people say, oh, you got older, you got wiser. No, I just figured out how to delegate more. And when I would delegate more, I have a more constructive calendar. And the reason the calendar is why it's like, well, you're delegating more. Why don't you have more time? Because I have more time to do the things that Jason needs to be doing. Having those meetings, the growth meetings, from 1 to 3. Also, I forgot to tell you, the first half of that 1 to 3 is growth meetings, not involved with everybody. Usually everybody's involved, but not all at the same time. Then usually the second half is going to be meetings that I'm going to have called service. So we have the same group, but boom, we flip it. We get off teams. We get onto a new teams meeting. And now we discuss service. Anything that has to do with service, COIs, audits, all of our customers over the next 3 months. What are they? We look at them. We have all the producers. That's what we do on Monday. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that after that 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock. When am I meeting with Barbara and Sophia? I'm meeting with them between 8 and 9 and between 3 and 5. That's usually when I am going to be meeting with somebody. So on Thursday, that is a busy day for me. That is another day that I allow people to just hammer and they can put in any meeting. I'm usually going to be able to find that I'm open on Wednesday from 9 to 12 or anytime from 9 to 3, not anytime, but you'll have time on Thursdays. I'm also open from 9 to 12. What I mean open, that's when your only spot you're going to find a calendar. So if you really think about it, there's only 2 possible days. Half a day on Thursday, half a day on Friday, and all day Thursday. Half a day on Wednesday, half a day on Friday, all day Wednesday. Couldn't you get on my calendar Monday or Tuesday? Yes, if it's very important, as I said before. That is my day and my week. That is how we do that. Why did I jump from one team call to the other? Because everything we do is listed as a calendar invite, and that's how everybody goes into our meetings. Because those calendar invites allow for it to be recorded. They allow for our AI to be invited. Mitch also has our teams set up inside a team. So if it's a growth meeting, we're all going to be going, it's set up one time, and you can either go into our calendar invite to go to the growth meeting, or you can go into Teams and go into the growth meeting team, and you can click right there and join. Why do we do that? Everything we talk about, all the notes we take, all the chats we take inside of that meeting are now saved in there for future use. Also, the video recording, the transcription, it's all in there. All of my employees have their bots that come into that meeting when they do. Now they have transcriptions, all that stuff that's relevant. If they need to-dos, if they have tasks, it's puts right into AZ. These are reasons why my staff is not sitting there writing everything down at our meetings. They're actually constructively having a conversation. Why? Because AI is recording it. AI is putting together the do's, the summary of the things they need to do. This is the way we have to think about our agencies. This is the way that we get our time and money back. This has nothing to do with the time and money into the future of how we're going to be living as a society and an agency. That's going to be the next podcast. I promise. I'm going to get that out. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope, Tyler, you got something out of this. This is my daily routine, my weekly routine. And in between all that other stuff, I just create content. But I've created a system through Sarah, through Sarah, through Ariel, through Riza, through Robin, that what we have is we have a system to when all I have to do is record. I sit in here in Riverside right now and sit here and record this. They can pull 2 or 3 things off of this. They can transcribe it. We can create blogs off of it. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. You shouldn't be either. You should be doing what you're good at and delegating everything else. You know what I do because I do it for you. Tell me your thoughts and tell me your ideas, and I'm going to tell the world what you have to say. This has been Jason Cass with Agency Intelligence Podcast. I am out.